And welcome back for the next video in Iron Curtain Grades Your Shit. Today's video comes to us courtesy of a video, I'm not going to lie, it caught my attention because it was flagged as the ultimate horde base. And I got to tell you, if you put something like that in your video title, I'm going to watch your shit because there's a chance that it may deliver and there's a chance it may fail spectacularly. Either way, that works out for us. So the video is linked in the description, and I have done my damnedest to follow this guy's specifications as closely as I could. I think I've done a pretty good job. There are a couple of minor parts. I'm not sure if these cross beams here are in the exact same location. They might be. There might be a block or two dimension-wise that's slightly different, but I have really tried to mirror what he did. It was kind of tough to tell in some points looking off, measuring in distance and sideways in the videos and everything, but we'll see. The idea being is that the Zeds will track up one of these three staircases, come up here, hit these iron bars, be slowed down. Everybody here is in the middle shooting. He's got these fires going in the middle, which in the video, to my eye, appears to be lit. We learned early on that lit fires, and I'm going to light them, I'm going to do the due diligence, that lit fires don't do a whole lot, and they don't really have an impact in the Zeds anymore like they used to. So I don't think those are going to come majorly into play. The other big giddy up on this base is the shotgun turrets. Now these are fully loaded with buckshot. You can see the generator sticking out back here, ready to go. In my early testing with some little mini packs, those did some work. I was actually quite impressed with the amount of work that they were pulling off. What the reload situation is going to look like that in the middle of the Horde Night, that remains to be seen. And how long those are going to last in general with Cop Spit and anything else going on, that remains to be seen. In terms of my optimism here, I'm a little iffy on this one. I'm not going to lie. I like where this guy is going. I like what the build is trying to do, but there are a couple of big hangups that I have. First and foremost, and anybody who's watched this channel probably knows what I'm going to say off the bat to begin with. I don't like one column anything, because you're placing all your money that this steel column here, and I'm going to have to repair that, 6692, okay. You're placing all your money that this one steel block, this one steel column here is going to withstand the night. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. These should be able to hold up even if the beams up here should hold up even if some of these get knocked out entirely. That I don't think will be a huge problem. But up here, if any of these blocks go, that whole path is gone. You might, depending on how it breaks, they might try to jump. If it's this one here, they jump down and back up. Maybe. It's just not good math. It doesn't lend itself to durability in general. I think the use of steel in this thing is an attempt to compensate for that. I'm not totally against it, but the question I have as I was putting it together is if you're going to use this much steel, why not double and triple down on it anyways, at least on the parts that the Zeds are going to be walking across and through. The electrical components, the turrets themselves, you can't do a lot to wrap up turrets besides arrow slits and bars and that kind of thing. I'm not too worried about these. That relay right there and that relay right there, those are way out in the middle of nowhere. I'm going to be surprised if they survive. And mimicking the build video, there's another set of relays up here in each corner. The problem with these ones, and I did it to follow his specs, is that they're completely unnecessary. These wires will reach from this generator, no problem at all. So what this does is where wires are invincible and aren't impacted by anything, these relays are delicate as shit. So if anything hits that relay, that side's turrets are toast right out the gates. Like we had in the initial wedge tip ramp video, we've also got a generator just hanging here with its ass sticking out into God's country. Definitely not a fan of that. We'll see how the placement on this one shakes out. It will definitely be protected from anything coming up these ramps. But if shit decides to spawn back here, that thing's in the front lines, and I'm not really keen on that idea. As far as the supplies needed goes, I'm going to say a C. This is a pretty simple concept. There's not a lot going on here, but it is solid steel, which means it's going to be it's not an immediate proposition. You're not going to get this up in your first couple weeks to put this much steel together. You've got some power components here. You've got the turrets. It's a little pricier. I think it's pricier than it needs to be. I think this thing could be built out of concrete and structured a little differently to actually get better long-term durability out of it, but we'll see how it shakes out. In terms of build difficulty, my only big complaint was trying to follow and mimic some of the dimensions as best I could from the video, but the basic concept, this whole thing took me maybe 45 minutes. The build difficulty's an A. This was really easy to string together. That, in some cases, and I think this is a good example of it, actually makes me a little nervous. I'm not a big fan of really overzealous and overcomplicated structures, but I also don't have a lot of faith in the kind of thing that you can whip up in 20 minutes, because generally there are some glaring weak spots or durability problems, and I will be surprised if we don't see some major durability flaws over the course of the evening. These iron bars, not a lot of durability on iron bars, and once they hack these top ones out, they're just going to jump the second one. You know, if this one's gone, they're just going to boing, and away they go, and they're just going to hop down the line. What happens after all of those are gone on any one side is anybody's guess. Depending on how well these turrets do and how long they last, if the power gets knocked out early on, if the ammo runs dry early on, we are going to end up burning a metric fuck ton of ammo trapped in a tiny steel little cube, and following his dimensions, there is exactly one block for each of us to stand on. So it's going to be tight quarters. Social distancing be damned. Yet again, we're shoulder to shoulder the whole night. Best of luck to you, buddy. I hope your build works, but I'm not holding my breath on this one. Alright, Horde Night's kicked off. Shotgun turrets are doing some heavy lifting, and I'm already taking spit damage. What the fuck? Which does not bode well for the generator, because everything is coming from the south. Now, unlike the tower, I actually saw a guy get lit on fire there.
Huh.
They didn't want to stand in the fire pits when we did the 2 towers build, but they're not having problems with it now.
They're on that
Except it's already kicked over.
Well, yeah, none of them are going to last that long. Are the turrets still firing?
Yep.
Okay.
No.
Are they all still firing? No, they're not. I think we have already lost one of the relays out here. And exactly as predicted, it was the unnecessary relay on the back wall that got blown out and cut off the right side turrets. Always best to minimize the number of electrical components you're using, because every one of them is made out of spun glass.
Right. What happens if one of us goes on the roof?
Don't know.
Does it bust on anything?
Probably
I'm gonna go
not.
up there.
I'm gonna put the camera on the roof up here. It's a slightly better visual, I think.
No.
This is going to be a hellish ammo night.
Mm-hmm. They are going straight for that center platform.
Okay, I'm gonna cut this guy a little bit of slack here and pardon the creator mode, but we're gonna grab a wire tool and see if I can reach the far wires from here. You know what the shit, buddy, I'll give you a break. Try that too.
You know what would work really well in this? Because they're all going right into that one block?
Left shotgun turret's down.
AP rounds.
Yeah, probably.
I'm using AP rounds and it's doing work.
I think I still have some kicking around.
Okay, if I replace these relays as they get blown out, it is technically close enough to reconnect everything. This is a little off book here, and I think I'm going to subtract points from the final for it, but it's doable. It does get those turrets going again, which is important, at least for as long as their ammo holds out.
Right.
God knows I'm not jumping down there to repair it. Or restock those. Now, I will say that this guy is probably intending this as more of a single-player base, which is going to cut down the horde size, so maybe the turrets would hold out a little longer into the evening. Looks like they're still shooting. So when they do run dry, we can probably give them credit for getting duration of the night if it was only 1 or 2 people's worth of Zeds.
Yeah.
But given that we've tested all of these with basically the same squad, I don't think it would be really all that accurate or fair to drill down to just one person for one video.
Because we like to pretend that we have friends here.
Or at least pretend that we have standards. Look Frames they are a-chugging.
Right.
Yeah.
Hells is using the AK. Have you the brain worms, Hells?
Brainworms. The iron
He
bars.
says we're using an MP5.
The iron bars are actually holding up a little better than I initially thought they would. I'm surprised that more of them aren't gone already. I think the turrets are officially out of ammo. Or nope, they have been shit out again. So I don't think I'm gonna do another repair on that. The
I
second
crashed
time.
out.
Oh, fun. The second time those relays got blown out. So that's just bad design.
I think I'm hearing people whack away underneath us too.
Would
That's
not
gonna be fun.
surprise me.
Demos.
Oh shit. Okay. Oh fuck. Kill that.
Oh.
I think he's
Got
dead.
him.
I don't think that's gonna pop. Yeah, with these frames, that headshotting
That
it.
could be a real
Oh
problem.
fuck. That. Okay,
I
one hit on
tried, I'm
steel. He
sorry.
took out a couple of bars. That wasn't too catastrophic.
He popped on the corner. Saved most of.
Yeah, the processing here is, you know, the way this is chugging this base. It's really hard for any of the five of us to get clean headshots on a demo, and none of us are running potatoes.
I'm gonna take out the fires and see if that helps.
Okay.
I think it helped a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, my
I've seen
friend
an
picked up.
improvement.
What's up? Fire bad.
Fire bad. Who else remembers 2002? Hey, I see an X.
I hear gunshots.
Demo on the left, another one coming up behind him.
Reloading.
Hey, I'm in double-digit FPS now.
Woo! Speaking of computers from 2002.
Hey. Oh,
shit,
God.
He's already mad. That's bad.
Not great.
Still got several rows of bars left on each tier, so the bars are doing better than I thought they would. I will say that point blank.
They're also handling well because they're facing a wall of lead as they come off the
Sure.
stairs.
Oh, that might be bad.
It's not ideal. This guy also had junk turret, maybe turrets if I remember correctly, so he had a little bit of a force multiplier going even as a solo. So I don't think the scaling is completely out of line here.
Yeah, trying to fire at 11 FPS, that bomb switch on his can jump around quite a bit.
Yeah,
No lie. Shooting 3 seconds into the past. You're running perilously low on iron bars.
I'm about to be running perilously low on a lot of other things here in a minute. These demos keep popping.
Well, if shit goes sideways, Raptor Cage is right around the corner.
I will say the base design of this is actually holding up pretty well.
Better than I thought.
3,
Steel-
4 demo pops. We're doing great.
Steel's ability to take hits is not to be underestimated, that's for sure. Are these grenades Davian getting tired of that?
Exploding arrows, but yes.
Oh shit. Well, yeah, about those exploding arrows.
That is now down to stage 2 concrete on the middle.
Yep.
You see the health on the ones they're chewing on?
They're beat to shit. I don't know. I think I'm too far away for the hammer, but let's see. Yeah, no, it's too far for the hammer. Oh, wait, no. Half. Got a quick flash on the
Okay.
one. On the list of things I would ask for Christmas, half-strength iron bars. Probably not at the top.
They're starting to jump over a 2-stack. You seen that?
They're piling off each other. It's
Yeah.
like the wedge tip wall Jenga effect. Now they're getting purchased onto that weird crossbar, which I don't understand to begin with.
Oh god, 8 FPS.
Hey, I'm up to like 20. I don't know what you're doing.
He's actually shooting the zombies.
Hey. Do you not see Hurricane X?
Okay, that doesn't help.
Doesn't it? I just wanted to experiment. And it seems like maybe it's pushing a lot of them towards the center instead? I don't know.
Let's hold out for a minute.
Yeah, we'll give them a minute to see if another wave comes, but I think we're clear here. Kind of an early one, 249. Ooh, salty. They took out a little bit of the back here. They dropped one out completely and brought another one down to concrete over the box. That got taken down to concrete. The rest of the undercarriage here is beat up, but not catastrophically so. The generator is beat to shit. Barely any gas draw, but it also had trouble powering anything through the night. The relay problem that I mentioned at the beginning immediately reared its head. Even after I cheated a little bit, I could have brought some spares out here, I didn't, but I wizarded a few up, replaced them, was able to rewire it from the roof, and it didn't last but a few more minutes. So these back-mounted relays are a catastrophic problem, and unfortunately they were linked into what was supposed to be doing the heavy lift on this base. And these turrets got through half-ish of their ammo before
If
they were,
that.
that one even less so. That one I took out the ammo and it got less than. The right side turrets didn't blow through a single stack of ammo. The left side got through about half their count, but it just isn't tenable to keep them powered up without multiple consecutive repairs. That's a major problem when the only part of the base that's doing any damage to them is running through very vulnerable relays. These stairs in front end, a little beat up, but not too bad. This concrete was getting close. We're at about 30% on those two blocks. That one would have been a problem right there if it had skipped out. The bars, I'm surprised. I am genuinely kind of amazed by how well these bars held up. That top one's about to go. That bottom one's in tough shape. These ones are all right. They didn't really touch these back ones, and then we had the walls and the blocks here. So they had a ways to go, and even if we had gotten a horde that went all the way to 4 o'clock, I don't think they would have punched all the way through the box. So that's good. For the grade, durability. I'm saying a C. This is pretty average. The main foundations, the main structure here held up better than I thought it would. We didn't lose any really crucial blocks. The only block that we lost was the one on the back here underneath the box. But that one is thankfully supported so close that it's not necessary in and of itself. That was in no danger of coming down. The rest of these are pretty pinged up steel-wise, but there's a lot of concrete left. There's only these 2 concrete ones that are a problem. The main reason I'm saying C on durability is we did lose a lot of those iron bars, and if we had continued to lose them, or if the night had been longer, or things had shaken out a little bit differently, losing those iron bars would be a pretty bad sign for this base. If they all go and they start chewing on the blocks, you're in trouble.
Yeah. And to build on that a bit, this has to be made out of steel to even.
Oh God, yes. Anything
If
less,
this was
it would have
stage 2
failed.
concrete, it would have been game over hours
Toast.
ago.
Oh, for sure. This generator is at a good chunk under half. More of them had been coming in from this direction. This generator was not in a great place, and that would have definitely been the death knell on any hope of repairing in power. The durability hit on the power, I think here can't be understated because it's such a crucial component of this build for it to just be swinging its dick in the breeze like that and be so vulnerable. Are the Zeds controlled? I think that's an A.
Yeah.
They pathed
They
up
did
the,
exactly what
they
they wanted
came
to
up
do.
the 3 stairs, they came down the 3 tiers of the walkways here. There were no big surprises there. They did some more punching in the back and on the relay towers and stuff than I would generally like to see, but it wasn't catastrophic, so I don't think it's a huge hit. Maybe there are some ways you could protect those or bury them up or, you know, at least single or double, triple pillar them. There's some options there, but it wasn't a huge problem. Are the players in danger? I think that's another A. We were never threatened. The lack of shotgun turrets and everything is problematic for killing them, but we were in no danger, and even the spit wads we were taking back here were not serious. This seemed to be a slightly lighter bird night than some previous ones. Maybe that worked out in our favor, but down in the box, I think it sounded like you guys were faring pretty well in there, no issues. Ammunition! This is not a good night. Counting the boxes I opened up, let's round off, 3,000. Davian, what'd you burn?
I burned around 5.
Nev, what'd you use?
6,500.
65? Oof. X?
About 35.
Fuck.
And that's with me being out for a good chunk.
Hells?
3,500.
How much?
3,500.
35, 23. This is a roughly 25k ammo night, so that's a fail. It would have done a lot better had the turrets survived longer to do more of the work, but that was not the case. So in ammo consumed, this definitely fails. For repair kits, it sounded like everybody was using quite a few. I burned 20. Or I'm sorry, I burned 5 out of 25, so I did alright, but I was also using a single-shot SMG and a hunting rifle the whole night, so I wouldn't expect to burn through a ton of them. What did you guys end up using?
16.
Oof.
Yeah, I'm about 12, 13-ish.
Yeah,
I used 7.
12. 12. Yeah, this is a fail on repair kits. That's too many. And that ties in with the ammo consumption. It just requires the players to do all the work, which means you're going to blow through a lot of brass and you're going to blow through a lot of repair kits. Cheese?
I see no cheese.
There's no cheese. It's baked potato. It's turrets and stairs. I mean, there's nothing cheesy about it. Chance of being patched out, like cheese, nothing. There's nothing to fix here. This is a pretty simple design. There's no tricks. There's no gimmicks. So, final grade.
Thinking C+.
C plus, B minus, C plus.
You see now,
C+.
I have trouble getting that high.
Mm,
I'm not trying to fail it, but
I'm also accounting for the scaling issue that we have. You know.
that's true. My big hang up is the power system.
yeah.
It would be so easy. So you've got relays here, redundant relays that weren't necessary to begin with, that caused the whole thing to fail twice. B, it would be so easy to mount that generator inside. Even on the roof, it would do better. The fact that it's just ass out here is bad. The relays are bad. These relays here, this is problematic. There's nothing saying you couldn't wrap these up in something, bury them in something, protect them in some way that would keep these turrets going. And I think if you wanted to get really froggy with this, you could protect those relays and string out even more turrets. I mean, if you're going to build a big-ass steel base to begin with, why stop at 4 turrets? Do 6, do 8. Just turret your fucking day away, and you'll be in good shape. It would probably actually help your ammo count, because from a materials perspective, I would rather burn through a shitload of shotgun shells than a shitload of 7.62 ammo. I think final grade, my vote is for a C. I'm not going to say this failed, I'm not going to say it did poorly, but I have trouble saying that it's above average because there's some systemic flaws here.
Yeah, I'll go with the solid regular C.
Yeah. I think this gets a nice round average. There's nothing to write home about. I'm certainly not going to call my mom and tell her about the base video I shot tonight, but it's it's not bad. We've certainly had worse.
There were some issues in execution, we'll say.
Exactly. A little bit of cleanup, a little bit of work. I think you could get this concept to an A. This one might be worth revisiting as an hour shit at some point in the future. We could clean this up and demonstrate a more durable and stronger way to present this. But I think the foundation isn't flawed. It just needs some spit shining. Closing notes from anybody?
Yeah.
This base gave me an idea.
I'm trying to give it
Oh, Lord, that should be interesting.
This is not going for a medal, but it gave me an idea.
Okay, all right. X has got a little mad scientist idea. And speaking of X's mad scientist idea, next week we have a really interesting one coming up. If you haven't watched it yet, go back from a couple weeks ago and watch the video on the zombie toilet. That is a concept you're going to want to familiarize yourself with, because speaking of spit-shining ideas, X has taken some of the geometry there, strung it out in a very different manner, but he is doing some really interesting shit with the Z traffic, and I will admit that when we started testing the build and he called me over to see what he'd been working on, I still am not 100% sure why the Zs are tracking the way they are, and I have honestly been doing some research, Google, Reddit, the work, trying to find anybody that's written or done a similar concept and has an explanation for why they're doing what they're doing, and so far I'm coming up empty-handed. I'm a lot of bases in, and I haven't been genuinely stumped for a while, but this one is pulling it off, so we'll see how it shakes out on the Horde night. I think it's got a really good chance of being pretty goddamn funny, if nothing else.
Right.
As always, we appreciate you guys watching. Thank you, and we will catch you next time.